Like,
A very warm welcome back to another daily debate session at the Teen Debater. For today, we have the topic: Do tariffs do more harm than good in the long run? Hosted by Vihan Maheshwari. Today, we have with us is Jayant Elawat and Myra Fayaz. The guidelines are that the opening statements would be of 70 seconds per speaker. We will have a rebuttal round of 60 seconds per speaker, and if time allows, a closing statement of 45 seconds per speaker. And for we have Jayant, and for against we have Myra. I would like Jayant to go first with their opening statements.
okay, good evening, everyone. I stand for the motion that tariffs do harm the good in the long run. While tariffs may seem like a shield for domestic industries, they are often a slow poison to economic growth. They raise prices on everyday goods, hurt consumers, and spark retaliatory trade wars. When the US imposed tariffs on Chinese goods, it led to billions in losses, uncertainty in global markets, and pain for farmers and manufacturers alike. Moreover, tariffs protect inefficient industries. They discourage innovation and breed complacency. Why improve if foreign competition is blocked? In contrast, countries like Singapore, Vietnam, and Chile embraced free trade and saw rapid growth, technological progresses, and global competitiveness. And let's not forget how tariffs strain international relations. They often see as economic aggression, leading to fractured alliances and tension, especially when cooperation is more critical than ever. Tariffs may look like a quick fix, but they create long term economic drag. The global economy thrives on openness, not isolation, in the long run. Tariffs do more harm than good. Thank you.
Okay, perfect, Jayant. Thank you for your speech. Now, Myra, are you ready with the opposition?
In the speech, right?
Yeah, the opening statement.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Do you need a self count or should just start the timer?
I'll just start. It's okay. Can you start? Okay. While often criticized as protectionist and economically restrictive, tariffs can be powerful tools for protesting long-term national growth, stability, and self-reliance. Far from being purely short-term solutions, well-signed tariffs protect emerging industries, preserve critical sectors, and encourage domestic innovation. History shows that many of today's economic powerhouses, including the United States, South Korea, and China, relied on tariffs during their development phases to strengthen the internal capacity before competing globally. In an increasingly uncertain world marked by supply chain disruptions and geopolitical tensions, tariffs remain a vital mechanism for securing economic reliance and strategic autonomy.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Okay, well, the speeches were all in under the 70-second mark. And now I guess we can start with the rebuttal round. I hope you have heard each other's speech very well. And now you can ask each other, let's say, let's do three questions from one team. All right. So, Jayant, you can ask Myra three questions, and Myra can ask in return three questions from me. All right, guys, you can start. Whoever goes first, we can go.
Okay, so may I go first?
Yeah, sure.
So I have to ask my three questions simultaneously, or I will be asking my first question, then she'll be answering, and
Yeah.
then I'll be answering.
First one yours, then she will ask them. Her first.
Okay. So if tariffs truly build strong economics, why do we see slower innovation and higher consumer prices in highly protected industries?
Can you repeat?
Okay. If tariffs truly build strong economics, why do we see lower innovation and higher consumer prices in highly protected industries?
Tariffs. They are tariffs are mostly for products for local industry, so the economy can improve as a whole. And yes, tariffs do uh, increase taxes for and make po- uh, increase prices for the people. Though they do help improve the national economy, as it's supposed to make the local economy or national economy grow, so that they can be more reliant on industries rather than being dependent on other foreign investments.
Uh, so can I cross
And it
question Myra?
yes,
Okay.
Okay.
So my cross question to you would be, like if we put tariffs on international goods, so how they are going to help national goods grow? Because they are going to think that if international competition is blocked, then why to progress or be competitive? We can just play our monopoly in our country, as foreign goods have been banned or have been highly on tariffs, so they are mostly expensive.
Just a second. So your question is that if we are blocking international goods, then we can obviously focus on the development of local goods, the national goods. And if the international goods are blocked, then there will be less competition and the quality of the national goods would decrease. That is your point, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Myra, you can answer that.
okay. Right. So China has China has in past it had put some tariffs in 2019 to improve its economy. They the tariffs helped them. They were able to improve their economy. Plus, they were able to provide good services to their people because of the tariffs. There was no foreign investment, so the economy grew. So they were able to improve their steel economy, steel production. Plus, they were able to improve the manufacturing sector more. So China was one example where they imposed tariffs on foreign products, on foreign goods, and improved their economy and their quality. And now that people are able to purchase or able to have better quality manufactured goods.
Okay, so yeah,
Now,
you are talking about Japan, South Korea, and China who used
yeah,
protectionism extensively. So yeah, these countries use protectionism, but only temporarily and strategically.
yes,
Their success came not just from tariffs, but from massive investment in education, infrastructure, and research and development. Once their industries matured, they integrated into global markets and benefited from free trade. Long term growth came after liberalization, not because of prolonged protectionism.
All right, Jen. Myra, you can ask questions from Jen now.
yes. Just 1 minute.
Okay. Myra, are you ready? Please go ahead.
Right. So I was saying, so what about like if what about sometimes when heavily relying on like essential goods like medicine, energies, and music. What happens during a global crisis or geopolitical conflict? Shouldn't we use tariffs to reduce that risk? Like if we rely too heavily on foreign countries for essential goods like medicine, energy, or semiconductors, what happens due to a global crisis or geopolitical conflict? Shouldn't we use tariffs to reduce that risk?
Can you repeat the
Um,
last line of your
could
question?
you repeat your
Yeah,
question? Because it was lagging in between. Like your voice was
yeah, it's
sometimes
Okay.
cracking.
way higher and
Okay.
sometimes way lower.
If we rely too heavily on foreign countries for essential goods like medicine, energy, or semiconductors, what happens during a global crisis or geopolitical conflict? Shouldn't we use tariffs to reduce that risk?
Yes. So your question is if we are heavily relied on foreign goods like essential goods like medicine and semiconductors, and if some global issue happens, so they would be using it as a weapon, right?
Now, I'm saying that if we rely heavily on foreign countries for like goods like no essentials like medicine, energy, or semiconductors, what will happen during a global crisis or like a conflict or something? At that moment, shouldn't we like impose tariffs like or use tariffs to reduce that risk?
But
Uh,
just a second. If we reduce the tariffs, if we impose
No,
tariffs,
no,
then
no.
obviously
Hmm.
the country won't get the essential medicines
No,
and
that I'm saying
semiconductors issue.
if you heavily relied upon it, not I'm saying completely reduce it, but if you heavily relied upon at that moment something happens, you're not able to get it, so shouldn't you be using a tariff at that time to for the economy?
So you are stating that if we are heavily relied on these foreign essential goods like medicines, healthcare items, and semiconductors, so if
Yeah.
global political issue breaks out, so would that
Hmm.
at that time should we reduce tariffs or increase tariffs?
Yeah.
Okay, so at that time we should decrease tariffs as we are heavily dependent on those foreign goods. If we actually increase tariffs instead of reducing them, our country would suffer from many great losses. As geopolitical issue breaks out, our country would be facing Medicare crisis. Our country would be facing shortages of semiconductors. But if we reduce tariff at that time, we would be helping not just not just foreign good market but also our country, that our country would be getting more affordable, like essential goods would be more affordable at that time.
Okay.
So may I continue with my second question from
Uh,
Yeah.
well, Jayant, you have asked a follow-up question as well before. So
you
should
said
we
about
give?
three questions.
Yeah, you asked your second question earlier. Myra has only asked one. So, Myra, do you
Okay.
have any questions? Should we let Jayant finish off his questions?
I do have another one. Um, this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you expect developing countries to build strong domestic industries if they are immediately exposed to competition from large, well-established foreign corporations? What-
Okay, so how would developing countries help their domestic market by reducing tariff, right? Your question is this. So my answer to this question is by reducing tariff, actually countries helping their developing economy or their developing industries by getting them into more competitive spirit so that they can provide better services but at lower costs. So their country would be getting things in long run, not just in short run, but they would be getting new development, getting new facilities, and getting many extra excellence in their industrial or in their medicinal or any field they are reducing tariff of.
But but when the foreign companies come, don't they have more than aren't they more competitive? And usually when the domestic firms they can't compete with them, they don't have enough information or maybe enough available
Yeah,
technology to compete. How will they be able to compete with them? Because usually foreign firms they are more they are more
yeah,
they
they
have
are.
captured the market more. They have brand, and domestic firms usually just shut down. They just don't they're not able to
Okay.
compete with
So
them.
at that
Okay.
time, like imposing tariff makes no sense because government can give incentives, or uh, government can set up many industrial or entrepreneurial hubs where government should support their developing economies, developing industries themselves. But imposing tariffs is completely opposite. You are reducing the international competition, which would in short term which would help those companies, but in long term they would decrease the competition by foreign investors, foreign players, which would indeed decrease our economy instead of increasing them. So government should give incentives, government should give money, government should set up entrepreneurial hubs to help those industries grow in longer run, not in shorter run.
Okay. All right.
So should I continue my third question now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So my third and last question supposedly is, how do tariffs help consumers who end up paying more for basic goods because of import taxes or import tariffs?
Myra, do you have any answer for this?
Yeah, 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Should I repeat my question?
Yeah.
Okay, so my question was, how do tariffs help consumers who end up paying more for basic goods because of import taxes or import tariffs?
Well, I have one answer to this if Myra allows me to share that.
I
Uh,
got it. I was just trying to think. I was thinking something very long, so I was
sure,
thinking
no
shorter
problem.
version of it. Yes. So
Yeah,
yes,
you
while
can go ahead.
tariffs may rise prices in the short term, they benefit they benefit consumers in the long run by protecting local jobs, encouraging safer and higher quality goods, and preventing market monopolies. They help domestic industries grow, offering more choice and innovation for the consumers. That also reduce dependence on foreign supply chains, ensuring price stability during the global crisis. Ultimately, they support a stronger, more secure economy that benefits everyday consumers.
Okay,
I also have one
good.
example of the
Mm-hmm.
this recent COVID-19, like during that time, they were also national economics and global supply chain disruption, reducing the risk of sudden price spikes like those during the COVID-19 pandemic. In this way, tariffs create a more stable and fair consumer-friendly market in the long run.
Yeah. Uh,
So I would also like to add something about COVID-19 in this.
okay, sure.
Yeah,
So in after COVID-19, we got to know that we don't need tariffs to build resilience, but we need diversified supply chains. Countries that fared better during COVID had flexible, responsive systems, not just domestic production. Strategic stockpiles, partnerships, and incentives for essential industries are smarter responses than permanent protectionism.
right. During COVID, they had no option but to protect those domestic industries as during the COVID time period prices were high. Those and they had to purchase from locals because they were the ones who were trying to provide them with the basics like sanitizations or what. That time tariffs were needed for that particular time period.
Yeah, one more thing I would like to add in this, that during the COVID-19 period itself, there were many countries, whether they be in Africa or they would be in Southeast Asia, so which are not heavily developed right now. They were highly dependent on China. And since the supply chain was disrupted, so they face a lot of severe shortages because they were heavily dependent on free trade. If a country at its initial stage starts putting up tariffs and they're trying to develop their local industries, then obviously in terms of such pandemics or global crisis, I believe that it would benefit them in cases of healthcare and even defense or basic necessities.
So for that, I am having a case where rapid tariff removal led to long-term sustainable growth for a developing economy, and that too from Southeast Asia.
Hmm.
Vietnam is a perfect example. After opening up in the 1980s, it slashed the tariffs, attracted foreign direct investments, and became a global manufacturing hub. Poverty fell drastically, wages rose, and innovation surged. It shows that with the right reforms, free trade drives inclusive long term growth.
All right, that is also true, but for the fact that every country obviously requires some kind of globalization and free trade, as I believe not every country is going to be like North Korea, right? So, yeah, putting some tariffs at somewhat extent is actually necessary for the local communities and the country's own development. And on the other hand, the contrary, obviously, we need some kind of globalization as for ourselves, for the country itself to be uh, become for the country's local players to become better competencies in other countries as well. So there is one question from my side for Myra as well, is that in the modern economy where free trade, if you know, there is a organization called as World Trade Organization, right? So it was
Yeah,
created for reducing the tariffs between countries and
hmm,
encouraging free trade between the global economy. And one of the major supporters for that WTO was United States of America. So they actually persuaded
yeah,
WTO to be formed and to work for reducing tariffs. But now, in the recent days, we have observed that USA is the only country that is putting pressure on tariffs. They are putting 100 above 100%
yeah.
tariffs on China. They are putting 50% reciprocal tariffs on each of the other countries. So I believe that in the modern economy, tariffs have now become basically a trade weapon. They are for not for the betterment of the country, but rather for egoistic capitalist leaders to benefit and uh, to destroy the shorter economies. So, what is your thought upon that?
Yeah, the U.S. president, yes, he did put a lot of tariffs on countries. Yes, he is not using it for what is supposed to be. That is true. Though tariffs are actually not supposed to be used as like a weapon for uh, canceling or free trade. It's actually supposed to be for the betterment of the future of the domestic industries, like China had once done in 2019. But currently, it's just used to, for like a weapon type, or just to the leaders to gain power. But it originally used to be for betterment of the local firms or industries. Currently, it's not that effective, but yeah.
All right, all right. Well, I guess that was good. We had a lot of good arguments as well. And since now we are left with 4 minutes only, would you both like to have your closing statements as well?
So should I start first or should the against the motion will be starting first?
Whoever is ready can start
I'm
for
ready
now,
with it.
or then you can start.
Okay, so to close, tariffs are a short-term solution that cause long-term damage. They may protect a few jobs temporarily, but at the cost of higher prices, trade disputes, and slower innovation. The world thrives on cooperation and interconnected economies. Tariffs isolate us. They lead us to economic inefficiencies, punish consumers, and often fail to save the industries they were meant to protect. True progress comes from healthy competition, open markets, and innovation, not from walls built around our economies. That's why, in long term, tariffs do far more harm than good. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Jen, thank you so much. Myra.
Right. In conclusion, while tariffs may present short-term challenges, their long-term benefits far outweigh the cost by protecting domestic industries, forecasting innovation, and creating jobs. Tariffs play a crucial role in the building more than competitive economy. They help safeguard national security by ensuring self-sufficient in critical sectors and prevent unfair trade practices that can harm local businesses. Additionally, tariffs encourage a level playing field for domestic producers, leading to more diverse choices for consumers over time. There may be a slight price increase in short run. The long-term economic stability, job security, and growth in local industry ultimately create a stronger, more sustainable economy benefiting consumers and the nation as a whole. When used strategically, tariffs are an essential tool for long-term prosperity.
That's it.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, guys. Well, the debate comes to an end, and uh, I am very appreciative of both of you because all the speeches and all the arguments were nice. We had a good debate there, and all the speeches were also under the dedicated time that I had shared, and that is something I would like to applaud for. And yeah, I believe that the debate was actually helpful for you both as well for your debating progress and development. And it was a good debate from my side as well. And if you need any feedbacks, you can DM me. I have some points for both of you. And the recording of this will be sent on the YouTube channel as soon as possible. And if you have done 5 consecutive daily debates at the Teen Debater, you can mail us at support at theteendebater.com to receive your certificate. Okay, Myra and Jen,
okay.
thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a
Thank you.
wonderful debate.
Most
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you.